Hey, greetings from Las Vegas, and get ready for the best weekend of the pro football season. 8 teams, 4 games, all battling for one ring. Oh, we're bringing it today, y'all. Beat the Odds starts right now.
From our Las Vegas studios, this is Beat the Odds, sponsored by Superbook Westgate Las Vegas.
I don't know where the y'all came from.
I was going to say,
organically.
Should we call you Jack now? Is that how
I did live in Texas for a while, so maybe that was it.
Okay.
Hey, welcome inside. Welcome inside our Las Vegas studio. I'm Dave Hall, y'all.
And I'm Mariah Jonas. To our friends in Green Bay, Tampa, and Detroit, congratulations on your big wins.
Yeah, to our friends in Dallas, Philly, and Miami. Gonna be a long off season, guys. But here we are, down to the last 8 teams.
Yes, these 8 teams now just 2 wins away from punching their ticket to Vegas. So it's a fun weekend to watch football and an even better weekend to bet football.
And that's why we're here. Coming up on today's show, Teddy and Jack will break down the betting angles of all 4 games. Do the teams coming off byes really have the edge? Plus, their best bets of the weekend.
And I'll be taking a closer look at the young gun teams pulling off those wild card upsets. Plus, Brandon Marshall is back to talk about those first-round buys and if that time off is really beneficial. Dave, take it away.
All right, Mariah, thanks. Let's bring in the fellas.
Yeah,
Jack, Teddy.
You have a little more of a southern stroll to you today on your rollover.
Did
so
I
liked it. Yeah, you got y'all, and now you're rolling in hot. So very nice.
Did I saunter over on my scooter?
You did, and some of these teams sauntering into the next round of the playoffs. So really big, exciting week. What happened, Teddy? What happened last week?
We got to start with a little bad beats and shockers and book report and that sort of thing. Let's start in Detroit, where it was a pretty tough beat for overbetters, LA and Detroit. Let's see, the game started the first 6 drives, 5 touchdowns and a field goal. They got 38 with 4 minutes left in the first half. The rest of the way, well, 5 punts, 3 field goals, no touchdowns, 1 kneel down. Game stays under. Tough beat for overbetters in Detroit, LA. Bad result for the books. There was one of them, and that was KC smacking Miami in the cold at Arrowhead. All the money came for KC, all that money cashed. That being said, the books made a whole lot back with the demise of the NFC East playoff teams. Philadelphia, Dallas, both getting dominated. Both those games very good for the house, as was Buffalo and Pittsburgh going over the total. Lots of under money came in. The game got moved, ended up going over. Good week for the books, at least the bookmakers I've talked to.
Yeah, you know, I'd done about 15 girl push-ups middle of last week, and I went and got some cereal afterwards, and I could get the milk.
Job, buddy.
I couldn't get my arms up. I looked like one of those blow-up things at the car dealership trying to get the milk to work. That's what Philadelphia looked like to me when they were trying to tackle Tampa. I mean, they couldn't tackle anybody. So really the challenge this week, in my opinion, is what happened last week? How are we able to take, was it a lot of the bad play that we got out of some of the teams, teams like Cleveland deciding they weren't going to go by the fountain of youth before they went and played, throwing pick sixes. Green Bay getting 14 points for free versus Dallas. It looked like Prescott thought he was playing for Green Bay at times. So when you move on, are you moving on primarily because of the bad play that you played against, or was it actually good play on your part? I'll tell you this, if you told Teddy and I one of these 2 teams is going to have 2 turnovers resulting in points, we would take a lot of the other teams, even the guys in Cabo right now, blind, unseen, and bet them. So how are we able to decipher the information? That's the challenge. Was it bad play, and that's why you're moving on, or did you actually do something special?
15, huh? You taking the over or under on that, Teddy?
Girl push-ups, 15 he can get there.
I couldn't pour milk, though. I was eating dry cereal, slinging my arms everywhere. It's bad.
Do you need my scooter, buddy?
I might at some point.
Hey, speaking of Dallas, as we've learned this week, they are keeping head coach Mike McCarthy. You guys surprised by that?
Yes, you're not?
Not at all.
Oh, my gosh. I couldn't do it.
To start from scratch with a new head coach is problematic. 90% of first-time head coaches fail.
To take the information from one of our great producers, it's a great crop of coaches to pick from right now. I think McCarthy has fundamental issues beyond what that last game was. I would keep Philadelphia's coach. I don't know that I could keep him. In game, I think McCarthy's one of the worst, and I just don't know that they're going to turn the corner. Besides what happened in that game, I think he gives away 2 or 3 games a year based on his calling.
It's so easy to blame the coach. In Dallas, maybe we can start blaming the quarterback a little bit.
He's not good either.
Plenty of blame to go around, no doubt about it. All right, fellas, hang tight. We'll get back to you in a second. The game of the weekend could be Kansas City Buffalo. The books have loved Josh Allen and his team for a while now. Here's Mariah at the Westgate Superbook Las Vegas with more on that.
Thanks, Dave. I'm here with EVP of Superbook Operations, Jay Cornegay. Now, Jay, what I thought was interesting that stood out to me before the postseason even started and before Buffalo had even clinched a spot, they were still third favorite to win the whole thing without even having made the playoffs just yet. How does that happen?
Well, odds makers just don't look at the record itself. They look at the DNA, the capability of any team. And Buffalo certainly has a high ceiling and has had a high ceiling the entire year. We've seen that over the last couple of years. So we base it off of that, not just the record.
Wild card weekend was in fact wild. A lot of upsets there. How did you guys do here at the book?
As always, we have some upsets, and the upsets do treat the bookmaker very well. We had Houston upsetting Cleveland on the first day, and then the second day, we might have had our biggest playoff win ever when Green Bay went into Dallas, a team that was undefeated at home, and beat them on their home turf. That really treated the bookmakers very well.
Now, in order for you guys to do well in the divisional round, what needs to happen?
Well, it's always the same story. We need some upsets, but I'm not holding my breath as San Francisco and Baltimore look very impressive during the entire season. I'm not going to say they have cakewalks. I think there's going to be one close game in there. And you got Detroit hosting Tampa Bay. I'm not sure if we're going to get an upset there, but we need one upset, and we'll be just fine.
All right, well, we're pulling for an upset here at the book. Thank you so much, Jay. Dave, we'll send it back to you in studio.
All right, thanks, guys. Up next, Teddy and Jack will take a deeper dive into the 4 games and why the first round bye might not be all that. Plus, does Green Bay, Tampa, or Houston have another upset in them? Brandon Marshall picks the one team he thinks maybe.
Before we take our first time out with a 52-yard touchdown run in a wild card victory over Pittsburgh, Buffalo quarterback Josh Allen now has the second longest touchdown run ever by a quarterback in the playoffs. But who has the longest? The answer after the break.
Beat the Odds is sponsored by Superbook Westgate Las Vegas.
Welcome back. Before the break, we asked you, with a 52-yard touchdown run in a wild card victory over Pittsburgh, Buffalo quarterback Josh Allen now has the second longest touchdown run ever by a quarterback in the playoffs. But who has the longest? The answer, Colin Kaepernick, who had a 56-yard touchdown run in the divisional round of the 2012 playoffs versus Green Bay.
All right, we're getting pumped up here in Vegas. Just 3 more weeks to the game. Question is, who's coming to the party? Hopefully you and your team will be here. Scan that QR code for a different kind of party. It's our website, beattheoddstv.com. All right, it's Brandon Marshall time. Brandon, how are you?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm good. Okay. Better than fans in Philly and Dallas right now. We've been talking about a little bit on the show.
Yeah.
What happened?
Well, you know what? We've actually seen this coming from Philly for a long time, for weeks. After they lost to San Francisco. Mm-hmm. After they lost to San Francisco, I think they imploded. And also, I think Nick Sirianni, I think he made a move too quick to go to Matt Patricia as the defensive coordinator or to call the plays.
Right.
It was a lot of turmoil, inside the building, that we didn't know, right? Mm-hmm. Starting off 10-1. And then just imploded after they lost to San Francisco, tried to do different things. Jalen Hurts said, everybody has to be more committed. So it was a lot going on within that building that we didn't know.
Yeah. It was just weird how them and Dallas were just uncompetitive. They didn't even compete.
No, not at all. And Dallas, this is the 3rd year in a row they've done this. They've been 12-5, 12-5, 12-5. So they win in the regular season, but, they're pedestrian in the playoffs. When they get to the postseason, they just do not show up. Dak is different. Mike McCarthy, I don't know if he doesn't make adjustments or he just didn't have his guys ready, because the way that Green Bay came out and how they drove the ball down the field, and it was just looking easy, Mike McCarthy didn't have those boys ready to play.
Speaking of some of the surprises, Green Bay, Tampa, Houston, is there one of those 3 underdogs who, again, are big underdogs this week that you think maybe has one more big upset in them?
Oh, man, it's not going to be Green Bay. It's not going to be Tampa. But I think Houston is the best team or has the best shot out of those 3 teams. Obviously going to Baltimore, playing potential MVP Lamar Jackson. I think Baltimore will win, but the way D'Amico Ryans has his team playing, and they're prepared, and the way C.J. Stroud is just cool, calm, and collected, he looks like a veteran quarterback at this time, right? And they have weapons. They play a good brand of football, so I think out of those three, they have the best shot of upsetting.
And Baltimore hasn't played their guys in 3 weeks now. We're going to hear more about the buys and whether or not it's a big advantage as we think it is coming up in just a second. Last thought, about 30 seconds here. Is this finally the year Buffalo takes down Mahomes?
This is finally the year. I'm going to stamp it. This is the year because they're more balanced. They're more balanced offense. They actually run the football now. Josh Allen looks good. I know they have defensive injuries. That's one of the big issues that we need to look out for. But I think they can, beat Kansas City in Buffalo. I think this is the year they get over the hump. If it's not, then something needs to happen. It's crazy.
All right, Brandon Marshall, as always, good to have you, my man. Well, Jack and Teddy now doing a deeper dive into these 4 playoff games, so let's get it started with Jack.
Yeah, so we're talking about Sunday's games, and these are the ones with the bigger question marks if you watch the first segment. These are the teams that we had that really moved on based on maybe good play, maybe bad play by their opponent. When we talk about Tampa Bay and Detroit, I mean, what Tampa Bay went through with Philadelphia, if any of these teams played another team that didn't tackle anybody, they were going to be competitive. But I'll tell you, Baker Mayfield is the honey badger. This dude doesn't care. All right, he doesn't give a rip. He just keeps showing up. And I know this from his days back at Texas Tech and Oklahoma. When the light is brighter, he performs. And he's been able to do that. He's also the type of guy, a little bit like Russell Westbrook in professional basketball. When he's on, you love him. When he's not, you don't. But he's on lately. This is a team that's 8-1 against the spread. Their last 9 on the road. Detroit, also a team, they went through a very tough-fought physical win, maybe a little bit of an exhale situation for them with having won the first playoff game since literally my grandmother was 18 driving around town or whatever. So this is not the type of spot where I don't know if they're going to come right back. I like the points. Also, I love the number 6.5. I think the line setters are inviting you to play Detroit minus the numbers. When you talk about the other game, listen, this is Miami look like when I go to the hot tub in January and I run in after a celebrity hot tub and I can barely find my way to the door because I'm so cold. That's what Miami looked like to me. You could tell that they were in cold environment. They were not performing offensively, didn't tackle defensively. So what did we get out of Kansas City? What we know we get out of them is a team that covers the number when they're an underdog. And they also, Patrick Mahomes, 8-1-1 against the spread when he's been an underdog 10 times in his career. So I think there's a lot of value. I've loved Buffalo, been beating their drum for the better part of, 2 months now. But this is a tougher spot. I don't think Kansas City solved their offensive problems, but defensively it keeps them in the game. Look for that game to go under in a game that came off a really cold game. Weather's not going to really hurt them or surprise them that much. I think Kansas City is certainly a live dog.
Thanks for the hot tub image. Let's bring in Teddy. So 2 teams we haven't seen yet on the buys, San Fran and Baltimore. So is the buy as big of an advantage as sometimes it's made out to be?
Well, let's talk about the numbers, because the numbers will tell the truth about whether bye weeks are a positive or a negative. Teams coming off a bye, that's the number 1 seeds in the modern era. From 2002 to 2016, when there was number 1 and number 2 seeds both getting buys, those teams combined 22 and 34 ATS, 39%. The bye, a negative. In the more modern era, 2017 through 2022, last year, 58% ATS for teams coming off a bye, 10-7-1. A little bit of profit, but nothing substantial. That said, only 1 and 3 against the number, 33% over the last 2 seasons. Worth noting, totals in these games involving the number 1 seeds, 4-0 to the under the last 2 years. We break it down specifically game by game. Baltimore against Houston, and we talking about rookie quarterbacks coming off a playoff win. In the history of the league, only 3 of them have been able to notch multiple wins in a single postseason. Brock Purdy did it last year, Joe Flacco did it, and Mark Sanchez, of all quarterbacks, the only 3 to win multiple playoff games as a rookie. So C.J. Stroud up against it in that regard. That said, Baltimore in the playoffs under Harbaugh, just 1 and 5 against the number the last 6 tries. San Fran, Dallas, I mean, Shanahan's been real good in these openers, 3-0, straight up and against the spread coming into the postseason. How much Dallas bad, how much Green Bay good? We'll find out on Saturday.
All right, you guys, we're talking about Baker Mayfield a little bit. He played great last week, no doubt about it. Question is, can he do it again? These 2 will battle over Baker. Our player prop showdown is next.
Before we head to break, with a wild card win over Cleveland, Houston becomes just the 4th team in league history to win a playoff game with a rookie head coach and a rookie quarterback. But what other teams have done it? The answer after the break.
You're watching Beat the Odds, sponsored by Superbook Westgate, Las Vegas.
Welcome back. With a wild card win over Cleveland, Houston becomes just the 4th team in league history to win a playoff game with a rookie head coach and a rookie quarterback. What other teams have done it? The answer: Cleveland in 1945, Baltimore in 08 with Harbaugh and Flacco, and Gang Green in 09 with Rex Ryan and Mark Sanchez. All right, I don't know about you guys, but I'm missing wild card weekend already. Any opportunity to see Philadelphia crash and burn, I'm all for it. But what really spoke to me was the dominance of the young teams pulling off the upset, specifically Green Bay and Houston. There will never be enough praise for rookie quarterback sensation C.J. Stroud. Not once was he rattled by the Cleveland defense, which was ranked 1st in the league. Stroud finished 16 of 21 for 274 yards and 3 touchdowns for a near-perfect 157.2 passer rating. But not only is Houston balling on offense, they've got themselves a rookie stud on the D-line as well. Will Anderson has been explosive off the edge, which is why head coach DeMeco Ryans has been campaigning for both Stroud and Anderson to be offensive and defensive rookies of the year. Now let's talk about Green Bay, obliterating Dallas. The young Cheeseheads were having fun, and it showed. Jordan Love saying in his post-game interview that they couldn't have been more loose and relaxed heading into that game. While Love led the passing game and got Aaron Jones rolling again, that Green Bay defense was perfection, and it's on them this weekend to stop that San Francisco run game highlighted by Christian McCaffrey. It's going to be tough, but both of these young teams are taking on the top seeds in their respective conferences. And while at first glance your instinct may be to ride with that top seed, I wouldn't be surprised if we get at least one upset out of these two matchups.
All right, here we go. These guys haven't seen a gym since MASH was the #1 show in America.
I just said I was doing girl push-ups last week. I mean, that's somewhat of a gym.
All right, it's Teddy against Jack in our Player Prop Showdown. Today, the boys are going to battle over Baker Mayfield.
Let's do it. I like Baker Mayfield over 255.5 passing yards, the current number. The wise guys already bet this one up for good reason. Detroit pass defense, let's just say it's not their strength. Good against the run, not so good against the pass. And let's not forget, Mayfield saw them already once this season, so he knows what he's going against. Tampa's the underdog here. What does that mean? It means they should be playing from behind. What does that mean? That means they should be throwing the football. Equal more opportunities for Mayfield to pick up these passing yards. And we look at the numbers, Baker Mayfield mediocre for much of the season. Down the stretch, he's been great. 4-1 to the over at this number in his last 5 games. I think it's 5-1 after this week.
Yeah, there's no question that Mayfield believes right now, and he's been playing better in the second half of the season. But I think the most important point you made there is if you do think that they're going to get behind, we saw a lot of that over the last weekend, teams getting behind, having to come back, then you're right, he probably goes over. I don't think that's going to happen. I think Tampa understands, like I talked to the comparison with Russell Westbrook, when he's going well, it's when he's not turning the ball over, when he's not gunslinging it all over the yard. He's been throwing the seam route really well, but everything else has been pretty much in front. I think they have a conservative game plan, trying to keep this game in the 20s, similar to what they did the latter third of the season. With that formula, this game goes under the total. His passing yards goes under the total. Give me under in this one.
Hopefully the Tampa receivers can catch the ball a little better this week, too.
That actually helps the under as well.
It does, it does. All right, so Teddy likes Baker over, but does he like his team to cover or win in Detroit? Plus, old Jack here has been riding the Chiefs and unders all season. Will he ride again? Find out. Best bets are next. All right, welcome back to Beat the Odds. As always, we're going to finish up with best bets. I mean, you know, we say it every week, but you guys have been crushing this year.
I mean, absolutely making everybody money for sure. I'm 15-4. Come on. I mean, that is smoke. And no, I don't believe in that.
Don't jinx it.
I will shout it from a mountain. All right.
All right. Well, let's do it again, Teddy. Why don't you get us started?
Sure. So we faded Detroit last week as favorites. We're going to fade them again this week as favorites. I think they're a little bit of an overvalued commodity in the betting markets right now. Tampa, very quietly, underneath the radar, 9 road games this season. They covered the spread in 8 of those 9. So they've been really good in this road dog role. They're embracing the underdog role. You read the quotes out of that locker room after last week, you know, nobody believes in us. We love teams like that. Come January. Detroit opened the game with 3 touchdowns last week. First 3 drives, bang, bang, bang. Then they have a field goal the rest of the way, hanging on by a thread. This is not a clicking on all cylinders for 4 quarters offense. And much like last week, all the pressure's on the home team. Tampa's having fun. Detroit, they got to win. The pressure's on. Give me the points with Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I like that one. I think we're going to sweep again. Okay. Now I'm really out there being cocky about it. But yeah, if you count the amount of times that I played under the total with Kansas City and under the total with Buffalo, it's a lot. It's probably a third of the times that we've had this top play. And now they're matching up again. I don't see any reason this game goes over. You do have the weather, which I don't even really factor in. Kansas City leading the league with unders, 13-5 to the under this year. That's number 1 in the league. Just because it has Mahomes on the back of the jersey doesn't mean that they have a lot of weapons to get the ball to. They want to stay ahead of the chains. Buffalo, same deal. You can't go back to Josh Allen in September and win this game. You've got to be able to be conservative. Let him run the ball more. All that's going to drag this thing out. Give me under in the Kansas City-Buffalo game.
Push-up contest, Mariah against Jack. Teddy, what would the odds be?
Do I get to do girl push-ups?
I was going to say, can we do the girl push-ups? If we do girl push-ups, I will beat him.
Because I don't know how much Mariah...
we need to
You're going to let me
film
do girl push-ups? No, I will beat you with girl. If we're both doing girl push-ups, I'm the push-up champion.
That, and that's going to be on the show next week.
Now it's here to make a number. Mariah's cocky, but Jack's got to be the favorite.
Right.
He's got to be.
All right.
I got hot Pilates right after this.
You know what? There's no question you've been preparing this your whole life. But I naturally am gifted with the girl push-ups.
My size gives me the ultimate underdog role in every single situation.
All right, place your bets now, folks.
Take it.
I think we have to set Mariah as the favorite, don't you, Teddy?
Jack minus 150, Mariah plus 130.
Oh,
that's what I'm talking about.
I got 10 on Mariah.
Heck yeah, we're making
Let's
money.
go, baby. All right, well, hopefully you guys do well this weekend as well. Enjoy the football. It's the best weekend of the entire season. Have fun with it.